Okay, so today I'll be taking a look at a number of pieces if time allows. But let's get started with some announcements. So some of the announcements are that I have not announced a deadline for the Alien Challenge. Oh, this is already open. So first of all, if you want your work looked at in Critique Hour, go to istebrak.com and click on, sorry, I am all over the place right now. Click on the Reddit icon right here to join us. We are 3,000 strong, 3,600 strong. Nice. We're gaining up, gaining on, catching up to where we were sort of with the Google community. I think we were at 5K at the peak. I think, or were we at 10K, Kyle? I don't know. But please join. Hop on over here. March that booty over here to our channel and join us. Make us powerful. Make us the biggest. You know what? I did a 3/4 view search on Google on Google Images, and there was a 3/4 view post of a drawing that was from our Reddit. So we're getting up there. All right, we're the authority of the lands. I'm joking. But it's really cool how nearly every submission has comments on it, which is wonderful. It's like a really strong community of active, except this poor fella. I'm sure it was 12 hours ago. I'm sure somebody will comment. But make sure you also comment on other people's paintings, because not everybody wants to comment if no one's, if they don't know you. So if you get to know people, they'll be more comfortable giving you a critique. But yeah, it's just a really great way to share your studies. It's not all about niche and stuff like that. Really, it's just about learning the skill of taking critique and handling critique, which is the backbone of being able to improve in your art. If you don't know how to take critique, you're always gonna be limited to your 2 eyes, and you're never gonna improve that way. I know somebody who I knew 10 years ago, before I even had a YouTube, who just did not feel comfortable with critique, and like she would just attack anybody who tried to critique her, and she still draws with the same skill she had 10 years ago, with slight improvements here and there in volume, which is so unfortunate and so scary to me, because I hope that I am eons better than I was 10 years ago, but that's a cautionary tale for you. But if you don't want to regret in the next 10 years, join my Reddit. And then there are the community challenges. So they're here on the Reddit. So Alien Environment Design Challenge. Honestly, I could have possibly put the date. No, I did not. Yes, the due date is tentative because I need to know what the heck I was doing, because it's just been crazy. So it might be right towards the end of June. So it might be Thursday the 1st. That's when it's going to be due. And then I'm still in the process of reading through all the submissions for the Creative Writing Challenge, which is a community challenge where I asked everybody to write their own brief for the next community challenge. So what they wrote is what we're going to do for July and August. I can't believe it's June. My birthday is next week, so I will be off hiking and doing all this stuff, but maybe not. Maybe just sitting at home and doing after hours and sketching, which I desperately need to do soon. I also have an XP Pen tablet review. I used it for 3 months like I promised, and I'll be sending out the review very, very soon. It's a very promising review. It's a great tablet, perfectly sized tablet. But I'll be sending that. It's the Artist 22 2nd Gen if you're curious. And I'll be sending that as soon as I can. And I wanted to put a really recent sketch on it, not the stuff I was practicing with. So I might be doing some streams next week. What else do I have? What else do I have to say? Yes, I just recently uploaded a very dramatic video where I discussed some unfortunate things that have happened to me in the past, and believe it or not, I left out 2 big ones. So I could have just gone on and on and on. It would have been like 6 names that I've cultivated in the last 8 years of people who I've had the misfortune of meeting. But it wasn't about that. And I want to repeat again, please don't guess. And those who know, who have met me in the past where I've told them the name, because they'll be like, oh, you should go to this person and you should collaborate with them. And I'll be like, you won't believe what that person did to me. So some people know already, and I would appreciate if you respected my privacy, and didn't go around telling people that you know firsthand who it was, because I'm being very calculated, and I'm trying not to turn my channel into a drama channel, be at the center of it, because the stress is not worth it. And if they are who I know they are, and they will bring themselves down. They will reveal themselves soon enough. And enough people will come out with stories about them. I'm not the first person they've abused. I won't be the last person they've abused. So, you know, there will be more instances where people come out, and at that day, you know, I will be like, yep, that was who it was I was referring to in that video. That was exactly who that was. So please don't go around guessing, because think of it like this. You might guess the wrong person. Y'all might be so convinced, and it might be a completely innocent wrong person, and you won't even know. So just don't even go there. It was about me getting it out, not about me focusing on some jackass and just, you know, talking about their name, saying their name in my channel at all, which I don't want to do. If you have not turned on your subscribe button bell, please turn it on, or else you won't get any notifications. I'm having a lot of issues with YouTube not sending out notifications, as many channels are having. So please go ahead and turn on your bell. And that's it, really. Let's get started on today's critique. Am I missing anything? I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty. So what's everyone saying? I feel like at this level, it's still more active than Google. Also, learning to critique yourself is super useful skill. Yes. As useful as it is dangerous. Playing League. Yeah, maybe I'll play some League. It's fun. Happy future birthday. Thank you. Spoiler alert. It was me. I stole Istebrak's con and accused her of witchcraft at the magistrate. Abu. Screw them. Let them quietly live in shame. They will. Alright, so any other things I've forgotten? Let's get started. So I want to take a look at both of these pieces, but maybe I shouldn't, because I like to really dive into a piece. Maybe I will just choose one, and I honestly am tired of environments. I feel like we need to go back to portraits for a little bit. So let's get started. I hope that those who have complained about the volume, I hope you feel heard, because I brought that Yeti mic right up here. It feels like it's a crown over my head. I'm sorry if I get loud, and I'm in the red zone in my voice control over here. I'm sorry if the shrieking that I do in the middle of class for one reason or another does not blow your eardrums out. Okay. So this piece is pretty because each individual part on its own is pretty, but all together it doesn't work. Because there's just some stuff that doesn't feel right. So because you used anime features here, you are basically using anime anatomy. So anime anatomy with long faces like this and eyes together, eyes closer together, means boy. It means we're looking at a boy. And it means a boy with really pretty hair, etc. So if that is not what you intended, which I don't think it is because of the mouth and the eyes, then, and let me just take a moment. If this was a boy and I said, hey, it looks like a really pretty boy, and you used all the signatures of a female on the boy, and the only thing that would make it a boy was of a girl on a boy, yeah, and the only reason it would be a boy is because you said so, then you don't get to blame your audience for thinking they're looking at a girl, because you literally just made a girl and you just decided in the narrative, in the fine print, oh, by the way, this is a boy. That doesn't fly with me. That doesn't work with me. You painted a girl as far as I'm concerned. The narrative and all that is up to you. However this character is employed in a story, you know, maybe he dresses up as a girl, maybe he is androgynous, maybe he's gay. It's really up to them. How the narrative pans out. But as far as we're concerned in the art world, in this beautiful, objective, narrative-free art world, where we don't have to worry about offending people, you've used all the female signatures. If it's a female, there's nothing to worry about. So how do we make this more feminine? So first and foremost, the eyebrows seem to be sitting on multiple planes. The eyes and the distance between the eyebrow and the eye is what makes it feel like it's a male. And then the closeness of the eyes together. The female signatures that you used that I was mentioning earlier that make it look like a female was just the hair, the accessories, the lip thickness, the small nose, and the makeup. Don't know if the artist is with us at the moment, but yeah, maybe you could enlighten us. That sounded so passive aggressive. Maybe you could enlighten us. Maybe you could tell us if it is a male and put us out of our misery. So what I did was I pulled the eyes apart, and you can see what I mean in that simple placement of the eyes. So I have a little surprise for you guys, which isn't a surprise anymore, but I really wanted it to be a surprise, but I'm too excited not to tell you. There is a really super realistic anime female model coming to Portrait Studio very, very soon. It'll be one of the initial updates we send out. Our amazing modeler has agreed to build one for us, and he's done it in record time. I feel like it's time, because anime is still so popular and it didn't really die down as much as I prayed every night that it would. I'm joking. I thought it was time for me to just give in and provide people with a realistic model that they could use, and it's posable, and it's just gorgeous. She is beautiful. She is just gorgeous. Maybe I can give you a quick preview of what she looks like, because she is just adorable. Okay, so this is her. Okay, and this is, I believe, an orthographic view. I could be wrong, but yeah, for all those anime lovers, we are bringing in a model, a fully posable anime model. I'm not sure if I'll keep the pupils in the iris. You guys let me know. Are you guys interested in something like that? Do you guys want the pupils in the iris there? If I do ever put them in, they will be posable as well. You can make them cross a little bit closer. You can make them pull apart a little bit. The eyes will be adjustable in angle. Some features of the face will be adjustable. It's not completely customizable like the regular model, because it's anime. It's supposed to stay within the style. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But the model is pretty cute. But because anime is in such demand, I thought it's time to put a proper model in there. But I'm super excited about it and just made the announcement on the go. Also, Control Z is coming, y'all. Abu's been cooking away at it. Things are calming down just a little bit here in my house, so we can go back into Portrait Studio, regular Portrait Studio work, and update release. So yep, the eyes are apart because, as I just mentioned as well, there's a certain amount you can adjust before it stops working in the anime style and starts becoming something else entirely. Then we have the cheekbones. So you've got a very defined cheekbone right here that you've sculpted for us. But as usual, the mistake with cheekbones is that you guys do not mirror them on the other side. It felt like her face was shaved off a little bit. Okay, so do you see how we really needed that cheekbone? She still looks like a female, but is very strong on the tomboy side. But she still has all these beauty signatures that you've invested into her design. Next up is the lips in 3/4 view. When it comes to realistic anime style lips in 3/4 view, it's the same rules as lips in realism. You just want to make sure you have that W C shape or M C shape for objects in 3/4 view. So just take a look before, after. And I really want you guys to just take a moment, just look at what just happened. Before, after. It's not changing the shape of the lip. It's making the lip not a flat front view lip flattened toward an angle to act or pretend to be a 3/4 view lip. We fully turned it into 3/4 view. We gave the bottom lip volume and the upper lip volume. Volume means we made them have a little belly that sticks out. So the upper lip and the lower lip will have a little belly and it sticks out and we see it. And the corner, the far corner of the lip is hidden behind the lower and the upper lip. So that's why I tucked it in with my liquify. So don't forget the M of 3/4 view mouth. Write that back to me. This is a very big mistake you guys make all the time. All right. So I fixed that. If you want a little Cupid's bow, throw it in now as well. And the nose looks okay actually for the image, and so I'm going to show you really quickly why the features were reading as male. So before, after. Let me see if my flip works as well. Okay. See that? No distant cheekbone. Eyes too close together. The other eye was fine, but it's this eye that you made so close that it was crossing on 3/4 view, which is where we see a distance between the nose and the eye. On 3/4 view, the eyes are overlapping. So from front view, she must have just completely looked like a cyclops. Okay, let's move on. So then we've got the hairline, which is not part of the bangs, this little section area. So there's no reason for them to be lower, as low as the bangs. Bangs cascade downward. And a hairline with hair pulled back this high. She shouldn't have this really, really low hairline that looks like a bad wig. All right, so I heighten that a little bit. And what I will do is give this area some shading. And so hairlines shouldn't just be, actually you have a great little detail there. So I'm going to increase that size and just use even more of it to kind of show that the hairline is more fuzzy than all that. It's a little bit more messy. It's not this clean, super clean cut. Sorry, I have the worst mosquito bite ever. All right. All right, and then this hair is really pulled back. And the best, honestly, I am plugging my brushes all the time because they're the best. But the best way to do a hairline is to smudge it. That's why I use my smudge brush for it. Best way. Alright, so I'm just going to merge that down. And then try to show where some of that skin is pulled back. So are they called cornrows? Is that what these are called? Because they look like rows of corn, or is that what it? It's not corn rolls, it's cornrows, right? I'm old. I don't know this stuff. You guys are. I teach you guys art. You guys teach me latest in memes and all that good stuff. Teach me about all the latest gossip. Don't forget the M of the 3/4 view mouth. Beautiful. All right, so when it comes to females, even if she's a little cranky baby, she's going to have distance between her eyes and her eyebrows, because at this point she really doesn't look Asian when you do it too low. You've kind of taken away from the Asian, which is that there needs to be a space where we don't have the eye socket we're looking for. The eye socket line is filled in. All right, something's happening right now. Image done. Image size. That should be enough. Huh, something is glitching real bad. I'm on RGB. Oh, I don't know. Could be a number of things. I'm not sure. I'm just cleaning that up. Oh, it was that weird preview when you're at a certain zoom out level. You get weird pixelation. And then I'm going to let the light radially climb up. And catch the eye, so we catch the light. And I want to keep that sharp point right here. So we haven't done a 14-day challenge critique hour in a while, and we haven't done any, you know, really heavy portrait critiques, so I thought that might be fun for us to do today. I'm gonna flip the canvas and blend out this eyebrow here, because you've kind of given it its own stage, and it really shouldn't have its own stage. It should kind of slide and camouflage in with the other eyebrow. Sorry, with the nose. I'm like thinking of something else while talking. All right, and then I'm going to also raise that one and move it a bit further away. I'm trying not to make her look like she has an expression though. But the most of that expression comes from this inner eyebrow right here, which you've thrown this like noise texture, and though it's pretty, it's really it's not fixing the issues of the painting. But you guys learn these little tips and tricks from some tutorials here and there, and you guys take them too seriously, because it doesn't make shadows look any prettier. Adding pixelation or that weird red, green, gamma, whatever that is, doesn't make shadows more accurate. All right, so when it comes to Asian eyebrows, they actually have a bit more of a flat look. So if you wanted her to have more of that stoic look, you might want to flatten the eyebrow and have less of an angle on it. All right, and this little hair section, it looks like the most pathetic, depressed little hair clump I have ever seen. It just looks so depressed. It just looks like it's just not here for its job. So you want to increase the size of that little clump, because it's not making sense with the rest of the hair design. Okay, so it feels a little bit more natural when you don't have this really oily, thin strand of hair that wouldn't even be that thick if it was that small a clump. This makes a little bit more sense of the amount of oil and shine and curl that's happening. The smaller the clump of hair, the more it behaves with static. The more it behaves individually. The larger the clump, the more it behaves in unison. I'm not a big fan of the hairstyle, but this is your narrative. Another thing that you did that I couldn't wait to just get into is just fixing that square in the background. It would do more for your illustration to have a light environment that promotes the narrative. Right now your light environment is just, it's light coming from one section. It's not really a dark scene. It's not really blue. I feel like you do more for the illustration if you just darken the background a little bit, and then let it kind of be a scene, and not just this really, really dryly presented background environment space. All right, and then I'm gonna select inverse and then go into here and just, actually I don't even need to select inverse. I'm going to just start moving the objects in the background a little bit more carefully and just pushing them into some shadow so that she'll feel more combined with her environment. Alrighty. And once we do that, we can bring down the values of her face a little bit so that where we do place highlights feels a little bit more dramatic. I mean, you can even make it this dark. It really won't hurt the piece to make it this dark, and we can keep both layers if you want to be cautious. I like to be cautious. And then just delete away at what you feel like would really need the light source. in this case. And then of course there's the ever important question, what is the light source here? What is it exactly? Like if you could exactly describe what it is. Oh, it's a flame, it's a torch nearby, and she is just standing there, and a character happened to just stand and see how she looked in that moment and is describing her for the narrative. That would be you know, a really great answer, because then it gives you an idea of the story, of who's seeing her and why she's important in that moment. And I'm just getting rid of my blocks here. And this is supposed to be a scar, right, on her face. That is the tiniest little scar. Everything is cautious about the way you're painting. The hairline was cautious, the background was cautious. You seem to be able to pull off a face, and you were trying to throw a narrative, but you thought maybe, you know, a bit more than you could chew. When it comes to narrative, you can't be too cautious. I mean, you can't be too courageous, sorry. Meaning that you can try to explore narratives that are just fun. You can try to pinpoint exactly where the light source is coming from. It's not going to make you draw any less well to know where the light source is coming from. So if you guys think like that, if you think that, oh, you know, if I decide on a really dark light source, I might not be able to pull it off because, you know, it's a really dramatic scene. It's a bit too dramatic, and I may only know how to draw a portrait in really, really strong bright light. Try it. You can draw a face, and if you're gonna, you know, do all of this, you might as well just go for the bigger picture and help the narrative along with a darker scene. Maybe not every character is lit up with sunlight, and that's when things get cheesy when you guys paint, is when you try to show sunlight on a character that's scarred and looking like they're about to go to war and die. You can darken things as we need to, as we see them darkened in cinema and storytelling. Okay, so this is in dire need of a secondary light source, so I'm going to try to do that. But first of all, this metal does not read as metal. Alright, so I need to do that. And because dodge tool saturates. Alright, so then I'm going to get pure white. And this pure white, we're using this everywhere. And that's what's going to make things read as really realistic, because this white is what's going to reveal the gloss in the eyes. I mean, in the entire face, really. And you see how I'm shrinking the size of my brush as I apply paint? Get used to this. Start learning how to do this, because that's where all of that comes from. In other news, I will be doing like a kit dedicated video set that I'm going to either sell on my website or Gumroad or some other place of just the basics of anime realism. I feel like it should be a separate thing because it's not something I focus on a lot, so it's kind of like an additional bit of education outside of the realism I offer in my channel. And it'll just get to the bottom of why some things work, why some things don't, and how to pull off, you know, like anime realism with class, not to make all those noob mistakes, and how to avoid it. Big reason why I have a model building at the moment is because of that. I will be using that model to create templates that students use, and they just paint alongside me, and there's different video parts to it in the one single kit. I'm not going to abuse the system or anything like that. It'll just be one thing. But this is kind of like, you know, a fun little way to introduce the idea. So this far eyeball, we need to show where the edge of the eyeball is. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Yeah, I think it's time I talked about anime, since it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So I might as well start teaching people. A lot of my private students opt in for that lesson. Their entire curriculum is about semi-realism anime. I feel like I've had enough experience teaching it, so it's time I did it. All right, and so what I'm going to do now is just think about where else I need this shine. And the light source in this case for me is a dark room with a window open somewhere. And it gives the scene a bit more of a mood when we work like this. Because then we believe your character, you know, we believe their placement, where they are, etc. For this background, I am going to provide a little gradient for the background, just something simple. So you can see it's still a character design, quote unquote, background, but it's something that's a little bit more befitting, excuse me, the color palette that you picked. But before I throw in a secondary light source, I just want to make sure everything feels right. Continuing with the white light everywhere, I'm going to just resharpen some of these areas. Again, that noise thing that some of you guys like to add does not make shadows more accurate. All right, so layer effects don't make shadows more accurate. Write that back to me. It's just, it's not what they do. I'm going to sharpen this shadow a little bit. And then the nose shadow is really the biggest reason why I feel like you didn't think about where the light source is, because there is none. There's not much of a nose shadow here. So either I use highlights to reveal it or just throw in a dark. Now it'll look too muddy. So I'm just gonna find where this elusive nose shadow is. Just there. And then just throw a shadow on the nose here. Just a slight shadow. And that way I know where to put my highlighter. So regarding the topic that I covered in my last video, my videos are published on my channel. That means that they are published material. You can't plagiarize them. Many channels have come around and plagiarized my videos, translated them into something and tried to pull them off as their videos, etc., etc. If you are watching my videos to help boost your content, and you are basically taking my lesson plan and passing it off as your own, taking my ideas, passing them off as your own, my independent thoughts, my published work, and passing it off as your own, you know, and changing the words here and there, that is dishonest. Maybe it can't be traced and therefore you get away with it, but that doesn't mean you're any more honest if you do it that way, because you are still going to a source, you're going to a well, filling your bucket up and going back to your little reservoir and filling your reservoir up with my source. So the reason why I don't bother with this is because this is all for free. So essentially it's for free for those who want to learn. It's not for free for you because you're teaching and making money, teaching quote unquote, and making money out of my videos. So it's not free for you. It's free for the students. If you're making videos and filling your videos up with my content, let's say you're having issues with inspiration and you are losing track of, you know, what it is you want your channel to be about. So you hop on over to this relatively small channel, steal a couple good ideas and go and write them, you know, in your own way, make them about your own thing. I hope you're discovered. I hope people come to me and reveal what it is you're doing. I hope it becomes very obvious. But again, it's just between you and yourself and God. And if you don't believe in God, it's just between you and yourself, which I think is worse. Yeah, don't do that because it's slimy and it's gross. And if I am inspiring you, why not let me know that? If you quoted me, why not come to me and say, hey, I quoted you in my recent video. I hope you don't mind. I wouldn't mind. I just want you to respect my videos and respect my channel and give me the respect that's owed to me, because this is my knowledge that I cultivated over years and years of experience and hardship. And I'm not about to give it to you for free so you could go and pretend that this is all your independent thought, independent critical thinking, independent analysis, and independent knowledge, which it is not, because you wouldn't be here on my channel picking through my videos to see how you could publish them better and regurgitate the same information you found here on your channel. A long time ago, I was a little bit too scared to say all this out loud, maybe because people convince me I'm nothing but a little woman. But if I find that these videos are doing that, I will behave in ways that I did not before, which is a lot more aggressively. I will name names as soon as that happens. As soon as someone comes up to me, I'll make a video right away saying, you know, hey, take a look at this video. Do you guys think it's similar? And what are we gonna do about it? Stop stealing my content, assholes. And that's all I have to say about that. I loved your last video. I'm gonna hunt down and fight the 3 people that disliked it. I don't care. It's probably the 3 people I mentioned. But those channels, they have been blocked. They've been blocked. Channels that I know take from my videos have been blocked, so there's that. And also grow up, grow up. It's okay that I know more than you and I'm a girl. It's okay. You'll live. You'll live. You'll live. And if you don't, well, I'm gonna, if you do continue to steal from my videos, I'm gonna send this girl after you. She's gonna kick your ass. Okay. So I gave her a little bit more detail around her eyes, and it may not be to your taste, but honestly, I feel like it does a lot for her eyes. It just makes her look more, still very extremely striking and beautiful, but it gives her more of that human experience. It gives her more of that strength, and that she fights regularly. And the one thing you're missing, my friend, is a waterline. I know she's wearing makeup, but the waterline is so crucial not to hide. You hide it in photos for makeup and you get away with it because it's a photo. But this here, right here in this painting, you get away with less. So you need more. Because you don't get away with an outlined eyeball. You need more realism. And I'm almost done. Alrighty, and then one thing I'm going to do is desaturate around the eyebrows. Eyebrows are desaturated because there's no blush under there. And one thing that bothers me is one of the biggest YouTube channels here, apart from the ones I mentioned, not one that I've ever come into contact with. I noticed that they do pick up from my videos, and they come in, you know, with their videos and their interpretations of what I said in their own way, which they get away with because it's it's good plagiarism, and there's no such thing as good plagiarism, but like in school when you take an essay and you rewrite it so in a way where it doesn't get, it's not traceable, but it's still plagiarism. You just get away with it. It's still dirty. And I've noticed they've done that. I've noticed that years ago. So if you think it's gone under the radar, you got away with it, I've always known. And the reason why I talk about this stuff today is, and yesterday or the day before when I uploaded the video, is because I just had enough of you people. Had enough of your shit. You don't know how to quote someone, and you're just the slimy loser who got away with or got through high school plagiarizing essays. And I've known people like that. I've met people like that. I've had people like that beg me to write their essays for them. So I know the kind of person behind this kind of behavior, and it's just starting to get on my nerves after this many years. After being a verified channel, still people find it in them to deny me my credit and my right to be credited. So I'm not going to stay a small channel for long, and I will one day, given the time and proper strategic time, I will eventually name names and do proper videos revealing where these videos are. But consider it a proper announcement that I am now vigilant against those who visit my channel, take content and resell it and repackage it This is free for students, not free for you. Fix her neck a little bit because it was a bit thick, and then now I'm going to correct that. And then finally, to close off the lighting a little bit more accurately, the neck needs to be a lot more shrouded in shadow. Okay, and so basically today's class was about just pushing this character design, the realism, a little bit further. And it just started with the simple and extremely underrated choice to make the background value speak a little bit more realistically. But because you've had this exposure to other videos and other channels where people and other galleries where it looks good to you per your taste, but remember your taste is based off your current skill level. So you might have bad taste. It's in bad taste to over design your background, throw a couple squares here, a couple banners running across right here. It's bad taste. It's cheap marketing. It's like, you know, when you look at old banners and old websites and old ads, they all have a cheesiness to them, right? And that's because it was just bad design. It's more clean now. So just have a clean representation of the light environment, especially if you're going to use all of this realism. And now I'm going to really carefully, as carefully as I can with Dodge tool. And it isn't just about plagiarism. It's about channels that have learned from my channel. Channels whose skill comes from my channel. What is wrong with giving the channel the proper shout out they deserve? You know, where did you learn this skill? Who taught it to you? If I even critiqued one of your pieces and you're now on YouTube teaching other people or showing your art, why not credit where you learned that? Because I'm still here. I didn't die. I'm still here. I'm still doing it. So why not credit it while I'm here? It's just very, very, very tiresome. But I'm doing last minute detail on the eyebrow. And I'll show you guys the before and after in a second. And I really appreciate those who come to me and show me, you know, what channels are doing this. Thank you to those who, you know, with their loyalty and their kindness came and revealed it to me. Alrighty, and then a simple Cupid's bow. Maybe if you guys vote yes for it right now, maybe I'll throw in a secondary light source. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it needs one? By the way, I'm on a live stream. If you guys didn't know that already, but I'm on a live stream, and I ask the audience, or the students in the audience, you know, what their thoughts are. So that's why I love when you guys visit for the live stream. But yeah, there is a lot of issues right now with YouTube that make it near impossible for me to send out my announcement to all my viewers, just active viewers. I'm going to fix the radial shading of the mouth, really, really low opacity, and then I'm dropping this brush to the edge of the mouth, and then building around that corner, and then throwing in that highlight under the corner. Just there. And then that shadow of the mouth, you don't really need it, but you do need a highlighter on the lip, which actually might do more for you than the shadow of the lip. I think it's all right the way it is. It reminds me of those old military portraits, and the simplicity of the lighting adds to that. Yeah, it does look like a military portrait. Good shot. I don't think it needs it per se, but it would be interesting to say. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't, but experimenting is really valuable. The scar, I know, the scar. All right, so the scar. So I'm gonna just take this scar and make it a little bit bigger. I hardly needed to Photoshop it, but so what I'm doing is just doing what they did. I'm just doing a dark, light, dark pattern. And it seems more like an indentation than a scar. A scar is a discolored thing. So if you had a scar running across the face, it would first be, make sure it's contorted to the face's proportions. And then it would just be a brighter value. This is just a quick tutorial on scars. This side would get some shadow because it's indented. So a scar is both different color and it's like a flat plateau. Just like that. So that's what you would do with a scar. But that's not what they did, and I'm just trying to work with their character design. Oh, stop this. Oh. And I'm just gonna shape it to the shape of the cheekbone, just to show it has contour. And I'll show you the before and after. So yeah, I couldn't do two pieces today. I really wanted to, but I couldn't. It kind of looks like old scarring, you know, like really old scarring, which is very fun because it's a little bit more dramatic. A little bit more like a molten kind of look to the skin. Makes the skin feel like it's melting. Which is fun to sculpt around. It's like a bunch of a bunch of form studies. All right, so as for the skin complexion and the secondary light source, you know me, I like to bring in the purple magical colors. But if there is that torch or another torch nearby or something, you could also just bring in a nice torch color. This is going to be tricky for me since I am, so I'm going to use a yellowish white. Actually, I just want to pick a darker area. What am I doing? So the torch is somewhere near her on the side, and it's where all the light is coming from here. Maybe a little bit on her hair. So you choose the dark side. That was the mistake I just made. You choose the dark side, not the light side. The light side has enough. And that's where you kind of throw the secondary light source. So it was a need, just not desperate need. Merge down, merge layers. Then this has a cast shadow on it from this. And this is usually what I do. I over provide and then I take back a little bit. And then there's that beloved shadow from the top, which is always fun. So you can see it's still a character design environment, but it's a little bit more of a believable environment than what you had before. So are you guys ready for the before and after? Make sure I got it selected. I'm really OCD about making sure I press it enough times. Select all and select and Control C, because this one time I lost all of the changes in the middle of class. It must have been years ago, but it still devastated me to this day. Ready to be shook? Choose the dark side. It's direct 2021. Before, after. So you see the issues with it looking like a boy, because you gave us long face. Long face is boy face. And then there's the fact that the face had nothing to revert into when it came to the shadows. And then there is the fact that the background color. Wait, what is that? What were you doing? You gotta put it square, but then you're gonna put inverse, and then it doesn't work. It doesn't help you. It doesn't do anything for you. It did nothing for you. So whoever you caught that from, listen, you guys, you should always watch and attempt absolute professionals. You should not watch and attempt your equals, because you're not going to learn anything from your equal, unfortunately. You are going to have support from your equals. That's great. Have friends who are on your level. Have friends who are slightly above you. That's great. You know, usually professionals are boring people anyway, because they're old and they're bored and dusty, so they usually don't make friends. But if you're lucky enough to make friends with a pro, do that. But stop trying to imitate things that people that are your level or slightly higher or slightly more intermediate. Stop imitating the shit they do with these little background graphics, because it just looks like it looks worse on your portfolio. This looks better on your portfolio because it looks like an environment you would have in a game for some character or other. Because that's the difference between professional work and not professional work, is that every question is asked when it comes to environment, when it comes to presentation. Every question is asked. No question is spared. What's the background color? What's the character story? Who's seeing her right now? What's the camera doing? What's this? What's that? And believe it or not, you can go even darker. This is just me being generous to your tastes, but because you guys really like to see the face. You guys like when the face just straight up glows. But you can go even darker with the portrait and erasing only where you have absolute highlight. It'll just make her look a little more greasy, a little bit more war seasoned. All right. But I'll keep it here. And then there's the color temperature of the entire scene. So you could pull a couple of my tricks. So you could get darken tool, darken layer on blue. All right. And you lower that. So now things are on the same level, and then you put color layer on blue, and that'll balance all your colors together. And then you of course have to delete at where you have secondary light source, yellow torch, whatever it is, and then you delete at the primary. So you don't have to have, actually I should do even more low opacity. So it levels things out a little bit more uniformly, and then just go back and delete. Actually, I would increase the color choice, color temperature a little bit, and I'll delete away where we have a portrait. It just balances the color. Not that you had issues with color balance, but if you wanted to look like a dark, dramatic scene, you still have colors that you have to level out. In other situations. And this one, I don't like the color of her skin that much because it seems a bit peachy, because we were still working with what you had earlier. We're just inheriting some of the things you had earlier. If I desaturate, if I put it on 0 saturate, there's no one color that is super significant that I need to survive. I can desaturate it and bring the skin back to a believable complexion, which is a bit more pale, and that would be enough for color correction. And then you could bring all that color layer stuff as well. Before, see that peachiness I'm talking about? We still had some of that left over after. And the rotation of the eyes and the cheekbones is really something. And the fact that the head was a bit lost here, even if she had cornrows, it wouldn't mean that her head shrunk. And then moving the eye, and then that other cheekbone that was missing. Any questions at all about these changes? War grease. Dark cast shadow hiding half her face, plotting villain. It was like a peachy dodge tool color. Yeah, weird backgrounds trying to distract from bad anatomy. Yep. Lovely. She looks like she has thoughts in her head now. Oh, that's a really nice assessment. Thank you. Well, also, yes, she hot. It's nice to see it reach that full potential. Thank you. It's so subtle yet so drastic. Thank you. Thank you, potato recipe. Yes, oh, it's just the dark side. You notice that if you watch my videos, you notice that I'm always darkening more than I'm lightening, right? How often do you see me making a painting even more bright? So barely, right? Can someone attest to that, please? Can I hear an amen? But the reason why you guys do this is because it's one of the most typical beginner mistakes I come across, and I've been teaching for near a decade. It's a very common mistake because you guys believe that if I show more, I'm gonna have more. Now, in a horror scene, is everything lit up with translucent Walmart light? I mean, fluorescent Walmart light? No. But we have more for some reason. In Marvel movies, we have a lot of dark scenes. In DC movies, it's just a black screen. But we have some value there. Why? Because the best stories are told when we don't see every major thing happening in front of us. So why does it look better if I darkened it? Why? Is the student, the student is asking. Because in order to be an artist, you have to start thinking like a storyteller. If you're not at that stage yet, if you don't understand storytelling, if really cheesy movies are really fun for you, and by cheesy movies, I mean like bad movies that are not like Napoleon Dynamite bad, because that's smart bad. It's like just crap movies that you think are great. You have a long way to go in telling better stories, because movies that don't know how to tell good stories are movies that are making this mistake. Things are too bright, things are too peachy, and everybody goes home holding hands. That's a bad movie because nothing is revealed, not because nothing was hidden, and it's just bad storytelling. So in order for you to reveal her face out of this dark scene and tell the story of her character, she had to be somewhat hidden. And where she was before, considering she was this seasoned war veteran. Yes, I know seasoned war veterans will walk in the sun, but not in a movie. In a movie, there and storytelling and comic books, seasoned war veterans always have a blue filter on them, in good movies anyway, and there's always a cloud or two. They're not walking around in sunny fields. In a movie, you don't have access to a sunny field until the last like 15 minutes of the movie. Do you guys notice this stuff? You don't see, at the start of Gladiator, let's say, one of the best seasoned war veteran movies ever made. The start in that barbarian fight, the Gladiator waltz area, the time where that song comes up, it's just gloomy and dark because that's what war is. And so when you're telling a story about a person who makes a regular appearance in a battlefield, you're not going to deliver them with this super bright background. You're going to show us how that 1,000-yard stare almost that they have in their eyes, what their life is like. You're showing us the light environment of their life. It's not just a momentary light source. If you drew a angelic healer princess girl who gets tragically killed, but the memory of her is so sunny and beautiful, obviously you're not going to paint her in this dark scene. You're going to have some light around her. You're going to have all that. So just remember this stuff, okay, guys? You're making it. This is a shot from a movie. You're painting a shot from a movie. Anyway, hope is only for the end. Exactly. Beautiful fields only after you sacrificed everything. Exactly. This is so true. Like, I've lived through hell, and my backyard is a beautiful field. You actually have to go through hell. You actually have to be in hell to earn that, even in life. So it's actually it really is similar to life. Art does imitate life. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming today. I appreciate all the support, and thank you to everyone who sent me some support from what I've revealed in the last video. I really appreciate it. There wasn't a single bad comment. You guys are so lovely and so wonderful, and I'm so proud to have you guys on my corner. Go to Istebrak.com if you are interested in putting your work in for a review in my videos. That's what my videos are made of, your art. And once you give them over to the Reddit, you submit them for critique to be featured on these videos. And 2 announcements here at the top. Portrait Studio is currently on sale for those who are interested. So that's the model you saw earlier. It's currently on sale right here. Control Z is coming, I promise. And because things are settling down again, and the anime model is coming as well, which I promised years ago, but I could never get around to it. It was just so many other things to do. And yes, there is an I'm Istebrak approved, Istebrak certified anime realism tutorial coming up where I go like from scratch, from zero to here, how to make stuff look realistic, but also keep it looking anime. Really similar to here. It's going to come with templates. You're going to basically build the portrait that you want by the templates that I provide, and we go from there. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you guys hopefully next week. I'll try to do some work next week, but maybe not. But yeah, 3-hour, 4-hour hikes every other day kicks your ass. So I might just be doing only after hours. Hopefully I'll have some time for that. But the 29th or the 1st of July, I will announce also soon when the due date is for the community challenge. And if you are interested in being my apprentice, there is currently a break in the illustrations for assigned illustrations. You have an advanced form study, texture study at the moment for apprentices. So I've been assigning them like tons and tons of illustrations since January, because I want people to have really strong portfolios, and the stuff that I assign is portfolio friendly. But I've given everybody a little summer break, and the form study is all that you guys will be doing for this month, and possibly next month it's going to get turned into a little bit more of an advanced form study environment. But anyway, I'll see you guys when I see you. Thank you everyone for coming. Bye.